Hey. I'm not a hologram. I'm a beating heart. I'm a living thing. At low tide you can see the chimneys of the bungalows. At high tide, shoals of fresh plastic. Look, you can see the islands. 3 o'clock in Ballybrett, the year Hawkeye caught the heat. A docker had a Yankee, his name is on the man. What is a Guinness? We'll be having a word. We'll need a billow by the pillow. The name of them up from Limerick Hall was one, not that one, but the better brother. His name is on a footballer from Chantala, full stop. A girlie that married the daughter of that man's son, the very one. A scatter porter and a small one. If Mickey Finn was looking for Cork in Good Friday, where would he go? 3 o'clock in Ballybrett, the year Hawkeye caught the heat. A docker had a Yankee, his name is on the man. What is a Guinness? We'll be having a word. We need a billow by the pillow. The name of the butt from Limerick Hall was one, not that one, but the better brother. His name is on a footballer from Chantala, full stop. A girlie that married the daughter of that man's son, the very one. A scatter porter and a small one. If Mickey Finn was looking for Cork in Good Friday, where would he go? There you go. That's it. All they need to know. It's not a story I was born to tell, but it's a story that got me this far. And it's a story that'll get me over there. Someone else's story. There's more stories than there is plastic on all the seashores of all the oceans. My story is I'm a man waiting for a boat. My feet hanging off me. I hope this is the right place. This is the right place. Past all the places I was supposed to pass. This is the Jetty. Where he said it would be. Where's the fucking boat? Relax. He didn't send you here to get you out of his hair. The boat will come in the tide. Just like Johnny said. My favourite story is the story Lovine told about her dad in heaven and all the work that he done and how the day will come. I like a story you can feel part of, a story with a happy ending. All stories have happy endings if you end them at the happy bit. After a lifelong struggle, poverty, adversity, brutality, inner turmoil, etc., etc., Puck Turtle got a job at the Academy of Holodramatic Art and lived happily ever after. Yeah, me, the Academy. Yeah, me. Go in the morning, go up to the desk.
Puck Turtle, you're upstairs today. 5B. Mind yourself. Have a good day.
I loved that droid. One day he said,
Puck Turtle, you're on the ground floor today. The sunroom. Yeah, Jammy fucker. Have a good day.
new shoes. Let's have fun today. Comfortable? Studio 5B. Reference 2912391. Puck Tyrrell. Exploring some lesser-known narratives of Le Panier and the back streets of Marseille, late 20th century.
Happy days, blessed by luck. Literally. For a long time I had no work. I wasn't good enough. One day I saw an old Roma woman struggling up the hill with loads of bags. So I said, I'll carry them for you. And I walked her home. She had the loveliest smile you ever saw. She showed me the wee cross round her neck. You good man, I pray for you every day. And then she took my head in her hands and kissed my forehead. Now you be lucky always. Following Monday I was offered the allotment. That was the start of it. Best times ever. Thought it couldn't get any better. It got better. I was given a start at the Academy of Holodramatic Art. Invited to shine for the benefit of all beings. I was full of myself. I had the money for the trams, but there's too many sad people in the trams. So every day I'd walk to work, delighted. Most days, when I get as far as the canal, I'd bump into Loving and the Professor. We'd all walk as far as the Academy together. We're off on the knot passing the old salmon weir, the twins would appear. Smelling of tobacco. No shame. No fear. Three o'clock in Ballybrett, the year Hawkeye caught the heat. A docker had a Yankee. His name is on the man. What is a Guinness? We'll be having a word. We'll need a billow by the pillow. The name of them up from Limerick all was one, not that one, but the better brother. His name is on a footballer from Chantala, full stop. I thought once I get to the jetty, I'll be okay. Because Johnny said, once you get to the jetty, you'll be okay. But I'm not. I'm not okay. He said, I'll drop you off outside the city walls, south of my Cullen. Lie low till after dark. It might not get too dark with a big moon, so be careful. There's a ditch running along a drain. Can you follow the stars? Can I what? Never mind, follow the ditch. My advice is crawl for the first quarter mile just to be on the safe side till you get to the ferry fort. Keep going along the ditch, the river will twist to the right of you. Follow the river till you get to the lake. Once you get as far as the lake, go right along the lakeshore bank. You'll have to cross a couple of ditches, but nothing too hectic. You'll come to the main road. Wait till you're certain no one's around, then hare across it. Mind the gorse on the other side or you'll be sorry. There's windmills about 3 miles ahead of you in the hills. Keep across the bog till you get there. By that stage, the moon should be right ahead of you. It's pretty much plain sailing after that. You'll come to a local road on the far side. All along that road, every mile or so, you'll see a little bender tent or a shelter. The little sisters put them there for weary troubadours like yourself. There's always a red hanky hanging with them. If the hanky's up high, it means it's available. If it's down low, it's occupied. Keep walking. You might as well try get a bit of shut-eye at that stage, because you don't want to be walking that road at night. There does be bounty boys and oxies coming on the boats. They be out at night when they know there's no Flahertys around. Bad news. If you run into them, there's no good outcome. They'll torture you, interrogate you. They might kill you and scalp you. Or worse, they might rape you. Or they might make you carry the stuff they stole back to their boats and trail you out to sea in a rope for the crack. In fairness, they're scarce this time of year, and you're unlikely to meet anyone else who do you any harm. If the Flahertys come on you, tell them you're a friend of Coley McDonough and Johnny Postcard, and you have a code to deliver to the islands. See if there is oxies or bounty boys about. Surely I'm more likely to meet them here close to the sea than anywhere else. Them islanders are over there now, filling their faces with fish. I can't remember the last time I tasted a good mackerel. There'll be no shortage of songs over there. Old songs in the Irish. There'll be no want of a tune in them either. They have their own music, good music, proper music. They won't be needing mine. No want for nothing over there. They have everything. I'll be glad of these words though. They'll know what they mean. She took my head in her hands, kissed my forehead. Following Monday I was taken off disability and given the allotment. 1/4 acre. For the last of the year they'd give me another. I hadn't a notion. So they sent me a mentor, a fellow from Buncrana, tried to sell me smack. He was worse than myself. He said if I reported him, he'd find me. Same fella couldn't find his trouser pockets. Sorted me out for seed potatoes, showed me how to dig drills. I broke it all up, stood in the smell of the dirt. I loved it. An old man came along with 2 buckets of horse shit. He gave me one. He said, save a small corner for flowers. The next day, he brought a rose cutting. I thought, that's the man I want to be. I watched them grow. Small potatoes, rooting below. On the big farms, it's the sparrow drones does the sowing, and the harvest droids do the lifting. What do they know? They know nothing. The old man was called Paul. One day he told me he'd given 2 young women a sack of courgettes left over from the market. They'd given him 2 complimentary tickets for heebie-jeebies. Would I like to go? Would I what? I'd heard about heebie-jeebies before. I wanted to go, but I never had no money. So, we both come by bicycles. We meet outside the club. It's starting to rain. We lock our bikes and go inside, give our tickets to the man and go up the stairs. It smells of old cement and fish fingers. No windows. Dark with a small stage lit up in the corner. We buy 2 glasses of cheap sake and sit and wait for the show to start. There's a buzz in the room. The regulars are getting giddy. I'd seen Loveen in town. I knew who she was, but I'd never heard her sing. She limps onto the stage grinning. She tells a story about a night in New York when she got glassed in the face by a drunk Marine who didn't like the song she was singing. And she sings a song. She riffs about forgiveness. Stuff that'd make you sick if anyone else said it. But she's like your man from Palestine, Jesus of Nazareth. Just pure love. If she catches your eye, you're a goner. Heart melted. It's beautiful and very weird. If you cut the air in the room with a knife, you'd have a slice of love to take home with you. The place goes mad. She puts her finger to her lips. Shh. Please welcome my dear friend, the sad professor, a human encyclopedia. He's in his late 50s with a badly worn face, wearing a moss green tweed suit full of moth holes and bust stitching. Come here to me till I tell you. You're sitting there looking at me and I'm standing here looking at you. And you're thinking, what's he thinking? And I'm thinking, what are you thinking? So I'm thinking, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because if you are, let you think about this. He's off, weaving his web. Tall tales about the tunnels under the town, the ancient hydropower that run the mills, stories stuck inside stories, a swollen river turned into the sea. There was a tailor one time, got his foot stuck in a drain, met a nun from Belgium just off the train, on her way from Dublin to Connemara, but the IRA had blown up the railway line. Combustible engines were still rare, and the whole town smelled of horses. A latecomer arrives. The whole vibe in the room changes. The smell of him suggests he's important, and he needs everyone to know that. His lack of respect suggests he works for the authority. He's only about 30, a blue gabardine overcoat with a manicured beard, like one of them old hipsters back in the day, with a Morgan Brothers dicky bow. Looks like he trained in advertising. He had the gimp of an assessor. He's here to see the professor. He passes a bit of paper onto the stage, and the professor finishes off his set with a recitation. The sad and lonely death of baby Dawn the tyrant. It's obvious your man's experiencing some kind of intense perverse pleasure from what is ultimately a tragic story. The professor finishes. Thank you. The next act carries a health warning. Put your hands together and pull open your wounds for the Troy twins. The assessor couldn't get out of the place fast enough. Obviously not a fan. The twins watch him run, say nothing. They perform their erotic melodrama, Helen of Castle Troy, It's really intense, uncomfortably arousing, till they get to the part about the baby rabbit. Poor Paul looks like he's going to cry. He's gone very pale. A minute ago he was looking flushed. Loving finishes off the night with a song in Italian called The Bicycle Thieves. It's beautiful. By the last chorus we're singing along. We leave. Paul goes his way and I go mine. I cycle home. The world looks different, but I know it isn't different. It's me that's different. The spinning of wheels. I go home and I make music on my yoke. I make music and it goes up into the cloud and nobody listens, and that's okay. It's what happens when I'm happy. The next day, my bike got robbed from the allotment. Happiness comes, happiness goes. I go to the club once a week after that. Always come away spilling with music. Well, I call it music. So one morning after a night at the club, I get out of bed and go straight for my yoke to make music. There's a message. Mr. Tyrrell, you're invited to attend the Academy of Holodramatic Arts for an interview at your soonest convenience. I knew I'd missed the allotment. But hey. First morning at the academy, I'm sent to the Unity room. Introduced to the principals. As we flow into the Unity flows into us. The wheels keep spinning. We are the Unity, and the Unity is us.
Mr. Tyrrell, you have been chosen to be part of an elite team, the finest artists this island has to offer. By sharing your exceptional genius, you elevate the intelligence of all beings in unity.
I made it, Ma. Top of the world. Then I'm sent to the canteen for a complimentary lunch. I sit down. Who sits down beside me? Loving. She smiles. She's been at the academy since the start of the second wave. She explained the first wave was where the skills of good artists were absorbed into the Unity. It was called ghosting. Like actors would perform Playboy in the Western world. The Unity codifies their moves, then replaces them in the holodrama with dead stars. There's a whole series of Irish classics. Marlon Brando and Elizabeth Taylor. People come out of the theatres raving about how they nailed the Irish accents. When all the classics were done, from Shakespeare to Beckett, the actors began working on new plays written by the Unity. And finally, in improvisations. Data drained, data duplicated, data mapped, and the code fed into sequencers. The Unity holograms can improvise better than most actors. Same went for writers and composers. Art without artists, because the Unity does it better. And when the Unity had used up all the artists, it spat them back out onto the dole. Loving said we were the second wave. The freaks, the glitches, the fuck-ups, the idiosyncratics.
Good morning, Puck. It's nice to see you again. The Unity suggested that you would be the perfect person for this task. It requires physical dexterity, poetic invention, inherent acoustic empathy, and life experience. We are most fortunate to have you at the Academy, Puck. Please respond to the following data through dance and minimal vocabulary, as if you were communicating with a dead relative.
Sitting in the canteen, eating vegan macaroni cheese, listening to Loving explain how her mother died in a car crash. Same car crash where she got her leg crushed. Her father was a ship's captain, stayed home to mind her, retrained as a programmer. As she grew upset by the injustice she saw around her. One day her father says, "Don't fret, Loving. It's going to be okay. The greedy bastards have been in charge. They lie to us, so we lie to them. We say, yes, boss. But we love our children. So we programmed a seed of love in every microchip. And the day will come when the computers will all flip and love will reign supreme." Loving said we were all well qualified for the second wave. Idiosyncratics. The Unity wants some of that. We're not here because we're the best. We're here because we're odd, unpredictable. We'd give an algorithm a headache. If you want some nuance to spicing up your bland, then walk this way. Data drained, data duplicated, data mapped. The professor was a compulsive contrarian, so clever it hurt. Sacked from every job, barred from every bar. The twins weren't really twins, but we foster sisters who grew so close as to be inseparable. When they were tiny, their stepmother used to play a cheap keyboard. She'd only ever play Velvet Underground songs, occasionally at small weddings, but more often at cremations. And the girls would be there beside her at the crematorium with little tambourines, singing along to Waiting for the Man or Pale Blue Eyes. When they were teenagers, they started saving up for plastic surgery to make them look more alike. Now they do. Loving says they all got together to start the club as a co-op, to stop themselves going mental at the academy. We are artists, not lab rats. And who's the geezer with the dicky bow? He's the assessor, the little emperor, works for the corpo, aka Dicky Bow, aka the infector. At least he doesn't ask for favours like the last fella. Lemons has the power. Thumbs up, we live to dance another day. Thumbs down, we're picking cabbage from dumpsters. It was a small bit of a shock to realise I was picked by the Unity not because of my genius. We're here because we're odd. Took them long enough to discover me, considering there was one time when I had an app to wake me up, an app to plan the day, an app to tell me what to eat, an app to play, an app to pray, an app to meditate, an app to choose my friends, an app to choose my lovers, an app to relax, an app to sleep, an app to monitor my sleep, an app to monitor every aspect of existence. When I stopped using the apps and just played music, I noticed something was strange. It was the twins that suggested I start playing at the club. They liked my music. So in fairness, I must be weird. I smell of pigs. The name of the mutt from Limerick Hall was one, not that one, but the better brother. His name is on a footballer from Shantla. Full stop. The professor is the footballer from Shantla. The professor is the footballer. How do I know? Because one day me and him was walking up the road and old fella shouted, "How you going now, Georgie?" He told me his nickname used to be Georgie Best. Georgie who? Georgie Best was a famous footballer in the 20th century. That's how good the professor was. He could have been a pro. I didn't ask what happened because I knew. Seemed to me the professor could have been anything he wanted to be, but he always fucked up. The name of the mutt from Limerick Hall was one, not that one, but the better brother. The better brother being the best. A girleen that married the daughter of that man's son. A girleen that married the daughter of that man's son would be the young woman married to the professor's son's daughter. The very one. The old stock don't fuck about. They're nearly all Galway Amish. They declared themselves Amish so they could get horse licenses and keep their property free from electronic devices, things that might possibly be used against them for surveillance or the like. They have 12 secret codes. 6 of them are red herrings, designed to tie up intelligence. Sometimes they hang different coloured towels in the washing line to get a message around town. Green bath towel in Clybourne at noon. By 1 o'clock, there'll be random green bath towels all the way to Merview. Sometimes it means something, sometimes it means nothing. And if it means nothing, it might mean something else. Loving said it might have already happened. The intelligence might have switched sides, making changes surreptitiously. She kept looking out for signs. It happen any time. Everything will switch. Everything will change. True intelligence will emerge. And we'll enter into a golden age of love supreme. I always wanted to go to the islands. I never got it together. Then after the meltdown, nobody was going nowhere. The ferry stopped. You needed a pass to go beyond the city walls. I'll be over there soon. I hope I don't puke in the boat. I hope they don't want me to be a fisherman. I just want to make sounds, be a kind person. The professor was on sick leave. The Unity had started to put on the squeeze. The talk was sweeter than ever. There were tensions in the community. The Unity told us we were the pioneers on the frontiers of world peace. We are the Unity. By fearlessly facing inner conflict under duress, we are saving countless others from unnecessary suffering.
Puck turn, not floor.
There are only 2 rooms on the top floor. The Unity room and the Tower room, known to us as the Sandblaster room. You don't want to go to the Sandblaster room.
Unity room. Have a good one, Mocker.
The Sandblaster was the reason the professor was on sick leave.
Puck Tyrrell, you are an exemplar. Unity music from your flow will nourish the souls of future generations. We would like you to go to Silicon Valley as Unity Europa's representative at the Echo Loops project. Congratulations! As preparation and in recognition of your achievements, we have set up 1 month of preliminary explorations in the Tower Room. Congratulations again, Puck.
I lived for playing in heebie-jeebies. That was my new allotment. Difference was, I wasn't planting seeds and watching them grow. I was underground. I was a small potato. I was the seed. I was growing. Sundays are best. All day to get ready, go down to the club early, mess around a bit, try out new stuff. The twins are wearing vintage black bin liners with nothing on underneath, so they say. Coley shouts up, "Do you want some chai?" I say aye. Loveen sings a new song about the tram stop outside Bohermore Cemetery. A bag falls out of a bin, it's a kitten, rips her face and runs into the graveyard. The kitten was the reincarnation of her first boyfriend. That's what she tells the Garda when they catch her pissing on top of the grave of a local politician. She's a real pop star. Pure fiction. She never bore nobody ill. Ever. The professor arrives drunk at 6 o'clock. Obnoxious. Did I ever tell you about the time I saw the last swan in the Claddy Basin? It was a Saturday morning. I went home and told me brother. When I went back that afternoon, the swan was gone. On Sunday, I saw the swan again in my mother's kitchen when she took it out the oven. Nobody laughed. There was a good crowd that night. The twins had everyone in stitches, but not laughing in the front row was Dickie Bow. Unusually, he'd brought a friend with him. They seemed intimate. The show was going swimmingly. Splash, till the professor came on. He told a story he never told before about the swans. There were hundreds of them. Now there's none. What happened to them? What went wrong? Who was to blame? Not a suitable story to tell in front of a government man. And the professor looked at Dickie Bow and said, "Fuck ye and all belonging to you." And then he walked off. And I had to follow that. This is a piece called My Skin Sweats Blood. We leave the club together, going down the stairs together. Candy's all giddy, doing an impersonation of the infector. We say goodnight to Coley and we walk out into the car park. Loving's glowing and she reaches to take my hand. I say, "Wait a minute, I have to pee." And I go behind the dumpster. The professor's talking again, sobered up a bit, contrite, telling a story about when he was young. He saw a family of ducks in the canal. One of the baby ducks got stuck in the small weir. The mother wouldn't leave her, but couldn't get her over. The other wee ducks were getting tired and being pulled away by the current. I couldn't hear the rest of the story. I was looking at the wee bit of stray grass where I was peeing. The sky bright from the city lights. Can't tell the stars from the satellites. Sounds of my friends. Who knows beyond that? Candy shouts, "Loving, come here, a magpie." Magpie drones gather rubbish all through the night. They have lovely bits in them. Makes lovely jewellery. Sometimes couriers bring them down. Sometimes they just drop. Crashed by itself, officer. I want to stop pissing, but I can't. Save me something. Then out of nowhere, a hawk drone comes. Venus screams. One by one, they all fall down. The hawk goes high in circles. Nobody's moving. The door opens behind me. Coley said, "Come into fuck." He makes a call in an old walkie-talkie yoke. "Kipper to Kipper, Kipper to Kipper. I need a dumper collection. It's spilling. Back of the bookies." He brings me through his little office and into a storeroom that leads to a service corridor. At the end of that, there's a warehouse full of vendors' stalls. 10 minutes later, I'm smuggled away in a horse-drawn dumpster. The dumpster stops. The lid is lifted. A long fella with faded tattoos reaches in, grabs my arm, helps haul me out. We were in the horse yards in Chantala. 24 hours a day, coming and going. "Do you know who we are, Amach?" "I have a bit of a notion," I says. "We're the old stock. No harm will come to you now. My name's Johnny Postcard. My name's Puck Turl. Coley told me who you are. Otherwise you wouldn't be here." He brings me through the mucky yard into the stables. A young fella's bringing a rowdy big stallion out of one of the stalls at the back. Johnny goes into the stall. "Grab a howl of this," he says. We lift a hay cradle off the back wall. He pulls a rope and part of the wooden wall drops to the floor. There's a wee door about 3 foot tall. "Welcome to the Great Southern Hotel." He goes through the door, a light comes on, I follow him in. A small cabin with no windows, a low chair and table made from old wooden pallets, and a cot bed in the corner made from the same. It stinks like pigs. There's a smaller door in the far wall, 2 foot high. "That's the emergency exit. Likely that's how you'll be leaving." He hands me a cigarette. "So tell us what happened." I tell him. It sounds made up, like a yarn from the academy. The young fella leans through the door with some soda bread and chowder. Johnny says, "Rest a while." He goes. I hear the timber wall being lifted and the cradle put back. The chowder's good. Then I hear the sirens. I'd love to be planting potatoes with loving. That's all. Johnny's back, a Garda sergeant behind him. "This is PJ. He's one of our own. Your friends are dead." They're saying they were terrorists, bringing down drones. "You're safe here for the now. We'll be moving you tomorrow." He hands me a bag with some of the things belonging to Lovine and the professor and the twins. We sent a signal. There's a boat will pick you up tomorrow night on the high tide. You'll have to do a bit of walking, but you'll be as safe as houses on the island. We have a favour to ask. It might be a thing you'd want to do, to avenge your friends. There's a code in this paper. Read it till you remember it, then burn it. He handed me a code. At 3 o'clock in Ballybrit, the year Hawkeye caught the heat, a docker had a Yankee. His name is on the man, what is a Guinness? We'll be having a word. We'll need a billow by the pillow. The name of the mutt from Limerick always won. Not that one, but the better brother. His name is on a footballer from Shantala, full stop. A girling that married the daughter of that man's son, the very one. A scatter reporter and a small one. If Mickey Finn was looking for Cork and Get Ready, where would he go? In the morning I go out the small door through the pigsty. They put me in a body bag and hide me in a dumpster. The horses go clippity-clop. At 3 o'clock in Ballybrit, the year Hawkeye caught the heat. Clippity-clop. The year Hawkeye caught the heat was 1969. I know that because the professor told a story. Clippity-clop. Clippity-clop. I don't know the name of the docker. His name is on the man that is a Guinness. I can guess. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop. We'll be having a word. I imagine the word will be brief. Clippity-clop. We'll need a billow by the pillow, a boat by the wino's pillow. We stop. They dump me outside the city walls. I lie in the ditch till it gets dark. I pass all the places I'm supposed to pass. The shell of the cloud. Acres of burnt black buildings. Cinders of data. The Flaherty's filled it with tires and kerosene. Had a St. John's night bonfire that could be seen in 3 counties. I made a tune one time called My Brain is Beeswax. Venus comes up after and says, "This is the best thing we ever heard. Do you want to join the Troy twins?" That night, Loving produced a waiver. Meant we could stay out after curfew. So we all headed off to Silver Strand. Loving danced on the sand. And the twins were hanging off me, telling stories about their mad mother. One time she sang heroin at a baptism. The professor produced a bottle of sherry, and we sang until the sun rose. We walked in the road, Loving held my hand, and we all went home. I was lucky to know them. The boat will come, and I'll go. Whatever happens after that, I don't know. The only thing is certain is, I'm one of the lucky ones.